It's Michael W here of itsmichaelw.com. Today I'll be doing a review of the Incase snap case for the iPhone 4. This is the smoke clear version. There is also a fully clear version available. I picked this one up through the Apple iPhone 4 case program at no charge. As always, I wanted to try it out for a couple of days before I did any kind of review. First thing I want to discuss is the fit. Now, I had the Zag maximum coverage on this phone prior to getting this case. So from the start, I'll let you know if you do have a maximum coverage case where it also has shields along the band, that won't work with this case. I actually went through that Best Buy program where they were giving out the bands, and I have a spare one sitting around. So I said I'll give it a shot, see what happens, take off the one I have. As you can see, this case it is pretty slim compared to like the Incase slider that was a 1 millimeter thick. This one, I couldn't find any specifics on it, but I say it's around 0.5 millimeters, somewhere around there. There is a lip around the edge of the phone, and that's what actually makes it snap into the phone, as you can see. The cool thing about this case is that due to the design of the iPhone 4, how it has that band that sticks out, when this case is installed, it doesn't actually touch the screen. So if you have any kind of shield on your phone, it's completely safe with it, because this case, again, it never makes it to the edge of the actual screen, so it won't cause any kind of issues or anything like that. The headphone port and the sleep awake button, that is fully exposed, so any kind of accessories that you have, it'll be completely compatible with them. Same thing goes for the dock and the speaker and mic on the bottom. That's completely accessible. The case, it does stick out a little bit on the sides, so when you're using the volume buttons, it can be a little bit of a hassle because it's recessed with this case. So if you're trying to multitask or do anything like that, it can be a little inconvenient to get to those buttons. I didn't find it too much of an issue, but it is somewhat of an issue nonetheless. I don't have that problem with the vibrate switch because that does stick out a little bit. So I mean, that's not really a problem. If you're the kind of person that switches your phone out for anything, you would have to just remove this case, because with the case installed, you don't have any access to that SIM port. So that's something to keep in mind. The camera cutout on the back, that's a big concern when you're looking at any kind of casings or cases. Is just depending on how the design is, when you actually take a picture with the flash, it causes a ring or some kind of lighting issue. I've tested this in a lot of different light settings using the flash. I didn't find any problems with it, so that's working out well so far. This case, it does come with a stand that can be used in a portrait and landscape mode, and pretty much once you just have the case or the phone in the stand, works just like so. A nice touch to this is when you actually turn the screen on, this case, it comes right below the bottom border of the screen, so if you're watching a movie or anything like that, this case, it doesn't get in the way. Again, it does also, it can be used in both portrait and landscape mode, just depending on what your preferences are. And it's a pretty sturdy case. I mean, it's very lightweight. I don't think it's meant to be anything special, but it serves its purpose. The stand can also be used with the phone. I mean, the stand can also be used without the Incase snap case rather, but it can only be used in a mode like this. If you tried to use it straight up, then the case will just try to flip over, no matter which side you put it in. But I mean, even with the case on, I'm not sure if I would want to use it standing up anyway for too long, because I don't know if it'll flip over or not. As far as protection, be hard to get a picture of it, but as you probably can see, the edge of the case, it does somewhat stick up. So basically, even if you had the phone lying face down like that, the screen is not touching. So if you slide it around, if you didn't have a screen protector or anything, it won't get damaged. And that's a nice touch to it. This phone, it does provide adequate protection, I think, but it doesn't provide any kind of protection something like the actual Incase slider that was a millimeter thick. So if you would actually drop this phone or anything like that, first of all, just as the phone snaps into the case, if you would actually drop it, I feel that the phone would probably snap right out of the case, at least after the initial drop. And also, going along with that, this case, it's not thick at all. Like I said, it's probably about 0.5 millimeters. It's very flexible. So along with that, it's not gonna absorb too much of that shock. So a big issue with the iPhone 4 is the screens being cracked when the phone drops. And I don't believe that this would actually do anything to prevent that. Now the case, it doesn't cover the ports as I've discussed previously. So that's another thing to keep in mind. I don't really see it as being much of an issue unless if there was some kind of direct hit, in that specific area. But other than that, I think the case, it serves its purpose. It does a little bit more than what something like a Zag or other shield would do without taking up the bulk of some of the other cases out there. Overall, when I first got this case, I thought I wouldn't like it. I was surprised though. I wouldn't use it as my main case because right now, I have the Sadio spring clip. I like to have something that I can put on my belt, and this isn't compatible with that. So right there wouldn't be something I can use. But any other times going to the gym, something like that, I like this, and I like it better than the Zag Max from coverage. So I will continue to use this case just for that. You can throw it in your pocket or your bag or whatever. You don't have to worry about, as you would a shield, the edges getting lifted or anything like that. So it's a good case for what it is. If you're looking for something again that provides more protection than a shield, but not as much as the Incase slider or something thicker, then I say go for it. Other than that, it may not be for you. If it wasn't for the case program where I got it for free, I personally wouldn't get it, but I'll continue to use it and see how it holds up over time. As always, any kind of questions, comments, feel free to let me know. I think I've pretty much covered everything with this case. And like I said, any comments, questions, let me know. Thanks.